How's it going, guys? Tash here for another Can You Game On It? Welcome to the year 2020, Season 2. Okay, that was really awkward. Don't worry about that. Today we're gonna be talking about the Poco M3. Y'all, this phone came out last year and it boasts a price tag of under $150 US. So if you want a phone that's entry level and can just basically run the basic needs of your life and basic games, this will be the phone for you. Why did I make that noise? I'm not really sure. Anyways, let's talk about the specs. So this phone comes with the Snapdragon 662 chipset, 64 or 128 gigabytes of internal storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 6,000 milliamps battery. Hey yo! Long gaming hours on this bad boy, plus an 18-watt fast charger, and it runs on the MIUI 12, otherwise known as Android 10. Okay, now let's talk about the design. You see here, the back is actually made of plastic, textured plastic. It kind of reminds me of leather a little bit. Poco logo on the back up here, triple camera setup. At the bottom here, you have your Type-C port as well as your single speakers. Top here, you have your 3.5mm headphone jack, which I'm very happy about. Side-mounted fingerprint reader as well as the volume rocker on the left here is completely bare. Up here, you can see the water drop notch. Now that that's over, let's talk about the performance. How was it gaming on this entry-level budget phone? Well, let's start with the games that we actually used to review. Okay, so PUBG Mobile. Okay, so when you first run the game, the default graphics were all on high, but let me tell you something. Kick it down all the way to medium. It starts off on default high, but please, when you're playing that game, kick the frame rates down to medium, otherwise you're gonna experience some lags. Yeah, the phone wasn't really hot playing that game, surprisingly very optimized, very smooth. Now let's move on to Call of Duty Mobile. So this game is a little bit more heavy, where the frame drops are a lot more apparent. It starts off on default as high, kick it all the way down to low, and turn off everything else you don't need, such as shadows or smoother gameplay. The phone was not so hot playing it, it was just warm, so it wasn't bad at all. Okay, now let's talk about Wild Rift. Wild Rift is probably the most optimized out of the 3 games that we talked about just now. It was very, very optimized and smooth at 30 FPS. But the thing is, when you're used to gaming on 60 FPS, I'm sure you want a more smoother experience. So I kicked it up to 60 FPS, and that is when it started getting a little bit not fun to game on. The phone got very, very hot and the battery drain was much more apparent, and you could actually see some stutters and lags. So I definitely do not recommend kicking it up to 60 unless that doesn't really bother you, which I'm sure it does, like any other normal gamer. Okay, now for the biggest beasts of the game, let's talk about Genshin Impact. So for Genshin Impact, wow, that was a wild ride. Downloading the game made the phone really hot. I was a little bit concerned because you have to actually leave the game to download on the first initial run. But thankfully, while playing it, it wasn't as hot anymore. It was just normal warmth. But the thing is, the game was almost unplayable to me. On default graphics that they left on the phone, which is I think medium, it was so laggy and stuttery, and at some points I felt like the buttons were not really responsive to me, probably because of the heat. And then when you kick it down all the way to low, it was alright, it was playable, but it still had some stutters and lags. Probably the limitation here would be the graphics might be too heavy, the game is too big, and the rendering for the game was extremely slow. So would I recommend playing Genshin on it? Probably not. Unfortunately, when I was gonna try out Asphalt 9, it says that the game was not compatible with this device, so that was kind of a bummer. Okay, so let's talk about the speakers. So speakers on this phone is decent, nothing to brag about, but it does the job. But if you want the best experience gaming, I definitely recommend getting headphones. And the best part about this is it comes with a 3.5mm headphone jack, so you don't have to worry about getting a Type-C or a Lightning port, dongle, or whatever to game. Okay, you can use anything you want. But the thing is, guys, if you're gonna go Bluetooth, don't do it. We all know latency is still there. Yes! So, question of the day is, can you game on the Poco M3? Yes, you can, but with limitations. I recommend playing games like Wild Rift, PUBG Mobile, Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and even Call of Duty on it. Like, it's totally okay so long as you keep the graphics down and make sure that you're not kicking anything up too high. For Genshin Impact, probably not. Stick to playing on PC or maybe a better spec phone. Alright, that's all for today. I'm Tash. Happy 2020 Season 2. And today is Genvember, because we started it on Season 2 again. January, December, Genvember. They bring Tash out of 2020, but Tash never left. Okay, bye.